I remember in 2000, well, 1999, when my senior year in college, when I started preparing for the Olympics. It was in Sydney, and the preparation went well. Everything was good. Man was in good shape and form. As part of my preparations, that's when I first ran the Ghana record of 9.98 at the NCAA championships in Boise, Idaho. And so that really boosted my morale to get me going more to prepare myself much better for the Olympics in Sydney. And we went out there, things went well. Unfortunately, I missed in the 100, I missed finals by, I believe, 1/100th of a second or so. So by one place, they take in 4 from each heat. I was 5th, and so I missed the finals. And I felt a little down because my goal was to make finals, and I just missed me. I just missed it by few seconds, and that was life. I mean, that is life, and you prepare so much for a big day like this, and then just a single little chance, and you miss it, or you are in, and so you don't leave anything. You don't leave no stone unturned. So I took it as it came in, and I just left everything to the maker to see what's up next. So yes, it brings back big excitement. Being there, seeing it, done it. First you hear about it, and then you prepare yourself for it, and now you've been there, you've seen it, you've done it. And so when others are going, you have nothing for them but encouragement. They've prepared themselves very well to go out there. They've qualified. They deserve to be there. And you wish them all the best at this time, as I was wished all the best of luck when I went. So yes, it does bring back a lot of memories.
Would you say the Olympics is about fine margins? If you miss the final by some microseconds, based on your experience, are you saying that the Olympics at that level is just about fine margins?
Yes, it takes years to train towards it, years. And I'm not talking a year or 2 years, 3 years to train towards this. And then your fate is only decided by a couple seconds, a couple seconds. I mean, I think I ran 10:19, and the one that beat me to it also ran a 10:19. But they had, since it was a tie, I can't quite remember, but I think since it was a tie, they have to go down into the thousands and the hundreds of seconds to find out who actually made it. And that's how the guy made it. And so it is, your fate is actually, it depends on, it's decided on a just few seconds, for you to know that you made it or you missed it. And so when you go out there, you just want to give out everything you've got. Don't say I'm saving some for tomorrow, because you never know, tomorrow may never come. As in, you may miss it, So just get out there, give it all you have. When tomorrow comes, you get out there and you don't have anything left, you give it all to make it, and now you don't have some left, than to try to save some and you don't make it. So it's a a two-sided coin, event, and you have to be ready for it.
What would you say motivated you to have that dream of competing at the Olympics? The Olympics is a big deal, but for a young Ghanaian athlete, running on the tracks here in Ghana, what was the motivation for you?
My biggest motivator was my brother, John Myles-Mills. He went to 2 Olympics. I mean, he was a silver medalist at World Championships in Budapest. We seem to forget that all the time. Sometimes it doesn't come up at all for us to talk about. But, all this time I was in school, I was playing soccer. I was happy doing it. I had a lot of enjoyment. and he was doing all these things. And I remember very well, I had Carl Lewis's picture in my pocket when I go to soccer practice, and for me, I was playing the soccer, but I could feel myself kind of getting attached to athletics. Um, and so seeing my brother there, kind of encouraged me a lot. I was like, man, one day I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna do exactly what he's done. I'm gonna beat him. I'm like he became my motivator. He was my inspirational. He was my target. He was, I just wanted to achieve things he did in track and field. And lo and behold, I managed to achieve, if I wouldn't say almost close to all. The only thing that eluded me was the silver medal from World Championships indoor. I went to Budapest for World Championships though, but I couldn't advance. So all the places that he kind of achieved all his big goals and things like that, I've also been there. Um, but I couldn't achieve all the goals that he had chalked. But at least I bragged. I teased him that I was able to run the Ghana record of 9.98 seconds. And that's the only thing I get to tease him with, that he couldn't run that. So, but he was my biggest motivational person. Like, I mean, he motivated me a lot. He was my inspirational. Um, I don't know if I would have had that much interest in chasing that dream if he wasn't there or if he hasn't done it before. So it was my biggest goal. Once I got to realize that I can do it, it became my biggest goal.
Talk to me about running sub 10 and being the first Ghanaian to do so and holding that record for so long. And I'm asking this because if you talk about running sub 10, people don't really get it. People don't really understand what it takes to run under 10 seconds as a human being. Talk to me about it. How was that feeling in 1999?
Uh, to be honest with you, it takes everything out of you, or it took everything out of me, I might say. And I was preparing to go back and defend my national title. I had won it the previous year, the NCAA championships, Division One. I had won it the year before, which was 1998, and the weather conditions were not that great. I won it with one of the slowest times ever to win NCAA championships, and I did not care because my goal was to go there and win. If I have to run 20 seconds to win it, I didn't care. I won. And so the following year, I said to myself, I'm going to go back to defend my title. I need to work harder. I have to work harder. I need to put in the good work. And lo and behold, things went well. And it took a lot out of me. I mean, I had to work twice a day, all week. On the day of rest, actually, I wouldn't rest. I would be doing something, and my coach would see me doing something and he would get so mad at me that, we have in track and field, we have two types of rest. You have the dominant, dormant rest completely, where you don't do anything. If you want to eat and sleep and watch movies or play video games, just do that. And then you have the active rest. The active rest is where you go out to jog, stretch, um, just things a little bit, to still get the muscle, to remind the muscle that it still has work to do, So you do that. And on my completely day of rest, I was out there doing something, and my coach saw me and he was so mad at me. And, he said, you need to rest, you cannot be pounding the body just like that every single day. It needs time to recover, and I was so determined. And, but the coach is a coach. You have to listen to his advice because he has drawn out the program. And so, so I just accepted it, stopped whatever I was doing and just went back home, just rested, just ate, drank, fluids to keep myself hydrated, watch movies, just relax. And then the following day we came back and we started working out again and things like that. But it is a lot of work. It is not an easy thing. And so when I got out there and I was ready to run, I knew I was ready to run because in the heats, I ran very relaxed and I was able to run a 10.06. It did not feel like I had run at all. And that is what brought my mind to the fact that, hey, you are more than ready. So going to the finals, I knew something was telling me, you've won it. I've won it already, but I just need to go out there to prove it. So I went out there to go and run and beat the field, whoever was in there. Going for the time wasn't the plan, was not in the plan of things. And so when I ran it across the finish line, I was just jubilating. I wasn't even looking behind me. And one of the assistant coaches said, hey, behind you, look behind you. He pointed to the scoreboard and I saw 9 seconds just flashing like that. It was just 9 seconds just doing this. The rest had not come. So just 9 seconds on the board, it was just flashing in and out. And I'm like, what in the name? And then it came up, it says 9.98. And I was like, hallelujah. I wasn't too anxious about the time going into it, but after I was so impressed that after all this hard work, it has paid off. Things have finally come to fruition, and you're just so ecstatic. That how much work you've put into it, and so to win and to win again by breaking 10 seconds, oh my goodness, that's beyond joy. That's beyond joy.
And this is 99.
This was
Sub 10
1999.
is
Yes.
massive.
And when I ran that record, Azamati was the one who came to break it.
Yeah, who broke it just some few years ago, yeah.
Right. And when I ran that record, Azamati was 1 year old. Azamati was 1 year old. So I was like, holy moly. No wonder they say records are meant to be broken. You just don't know when, You just don't know when. 20 years plus, Azamati came and broke it. And it was nice. It still brought some joy to me that I had set a target out there that somebody had made it his target to come and break it, And so also has someone set Azamati's record, as his target. They will come and break it. It's going to keep getting faster and faster. Yeah. And, it's always good to have Ghanaians out there. I was in a interview one time ago and somebody said, do we have the likes of Usain Bolt and things in Ghana? Or do I think we would ever have? And I said before that we have, and I will say it right now and keep saying that we do have them. We have the likes of Usain Bolt. We have the likes of athletes in Ghana to run fast and faster when given the chance, So, and those who have had a chance to come here and get into the USA schools and things, they are proving themselves. They are proving themselves. One thing that really helps us here is when you're in college and the season starts, every weekend there's competition to go to.
Yeah.
Every weekend there's a competition to go to. So one weekend you could run maybe the 400. The following weekend you could run the 200. The following weekend you could run the 100. And it's all in preparation to build yourself up. And it got to a point where I was even telling the coach that I don't want to travel anymore for the weekend track meet because I felt like it was too much. And he goes, no, we are going. And I will go and I will improve on my time. That time I was running 10:21, 10:18s and things like that. And each weekend I was improving. And I was like, wow, So that perception of, you're running too much or you're competing too much and things like that. No, we need it. Things are rather opposite. Back home, we train a lot and no competition. Yeah. But here we train, we do train a lot too, but not as quite as back home, And then yet every weekend you have competition. From some start as early as in December with indoor. And it goes on December, January, February, March before some of us, come out. Because here, where my state, well, I'm in a snow state. It snows a lot for quite a long time. So by the time we come out to be able to compete outdoors, Some have already competed outdoors and blasted out some outrageous times, and so you just preparing yourself to come back in to be able to qualify, to make it to the NCAA, to make it to whether World Championships or the Olympics, to get your qualifying marks in, And so it's the competition that helps. You can train and train and train and train and train. If you don't get the competition, you can never assess yourself. You can never assess yourself. You think you are the champion at practice, but when the competition comes, you lack the psychological preparation. You lack, the stamina maybe. But you say to yourself, "I've been training all year long. I'm strong. I'm fit. I'm that." If you don't assess yourself, just like exams, you can learn and read and do whatever. If they don't put exam questions in front of you, you wouldn't know what you've learned to know. And it's the same thing in athletics. So we need competitions, more competitions back home, and things will change. It will happen. Yeah, I know it will happen, and then give the kids more chance to improve and explore their talents. So
you went to the Sydney Games. That was your first Olympics. You went there as the fastest Ghanaian doing the sub-10, but it was your first Olympics. How was that feeling for you as a young kid running in Interpol Ghana, and now on the big stage running with the big boys?
That was what I was thinking when I got there. I wasn't thinking too much about being here. Then it just hit me. I said, "Hey, this is the Olympics. The Olympics, the Olympic Games." I did not feel it that much in the sense that at that time I was racing against Maurice Green, Adol Bolden, Obadele Thompson, all those guys on the European circuit, doing the Grand Prix and all that at that time. So I was seeing all of them out there. So seeing them in there, I have to think twice that, hey, this is the Olympics. This is not a Grand Prix anymore, because I've seen them and I know these are the same guys that I've been competing against out there. And so it's always like after the race and things like before, we go out to town or walk around the stadium, then we're like, oh man, this is the Olympics. This is, you get to enjoy it more. But when the competition was going on, it wasn't too much. I was more eager and anxious just to make my rounds, just to make my rounds. So I was happy to be there because one, like I said, my brother was at the Olympics. I've also made it for the first time, so I was really excited. I was really very excited to be there.
How difficult is it for an athlete like you to do the 100 and then do the 4x100 at the same event?
And it's not difficult. I mean, they have days intervals in between it for you to catch, a good rest. It is not that difficult, if you ask me. I was only doing the 100 and the relay. Others do the 1, the 2, and then the relay. If you're talking about the big shots, Carl Lewis doing the 100, the 2, the relay, the long jump. I mean, of course, they always have their way. They have strong, how do you call them? The Olympic Committee is so strong. They connected well with the International Olympic Committee and things like that. So they can help them to tweak the schedules a little bit to favor, Carl Lewis, and also I would say maybe Michael Johnson to be able to come back and double up in the 4, the 2 and the 4 like that, things like that. But some of us, who are we? Nobody knows us. No, to kind of go and make such a plea bargain like that for us. But it is not that difficult to run the 100. Of course, you're going to be tired a little bit. You may get a little sore here and there, but it's not too difficult a thing to do.
You made the Olympics the following year in Athens. Not two Olympics are the same. The first one for you in Sydney was your first opportunity, but Athens was you coming back again. How was Athens for you in 2004, running 100 meters and the relay again in a space of 4 years?
Oh, in the space of 4 years, there's an ample time. You have a lot of time to prepare and everything like that. Coming back for the second time was a little difficult for me because I was out of college. Um, I've been on the professional level a little bit. But however, I I might say I kind of overdid things. The anxiety was too much that I was trying to impress myself.
Mm.
Like, okay, you went to the first one, you missed it narrowly. This time you have to make it. This time you have to make it. And so events or the races that you have to run relaxed and power through it, I get to force myself and I felt so tensed. It, it wasn't, I did not feel like me running, you know. That was one. Two, I went to Athens with injury, stress fracture in my ankle. And it was very painful with my first step out of the blocks. It was
Mm.
my strongest foot that I get off the block, I land on first before the second leg follows. And I was using, how do you call it? The aqua treadmill. It was a treadmill underwater. So instead of me being on the track and running and pounding this leg and this foot, it gets so severe, so sore, so hurting that I couldn't do it. So I had to do it in the pool instead. And it helped. It helped immensely. It helped. At the same time, too, it had disadvantages because I wasn't really using spikes on the track to really, have the feel. So I went like 2 or 3 days, I got out of the pool straight to Athens. So it was in Athens that I started using back into spikes again to train to get ready for the races. And so I would say, I was just grateful. I was just grateful that I could compete um, and not injured any more of my injuries, and just very grateful that I was able to do what I accomplished out there because I knew I wasn't 100% fit, but I knew what I was capable of doing, and I, I was just grateful to be out there. I
Mm.
was just grateful.
Interesting, we have a very solid relay team now. One of the top 16 countries at the Olympics this year. Can we go all the way to the finals, maybe?
I don't see what is going to stop us or who is going to stop us than ourselves. In the relay, anything and everything is possible. One single mistake by someone and it causes the team everything. I'm just hoping and praying that their training continues to go well. I've been seeing some videos, we're sharing ideas and things, but I mean, they look very good. They look really good. I hope practice, what they do there will transcend onto the track on that D-Day. And my goal for them is just to make finals. Once they make finals, anything is possible. On paper, they are ranked seventh, as far in the
Yeah.
top eight. They are ranked seventh, but they just have to get out there to prove it. They can do it. This team has. Don't let us forget that this team has been together for also quite a while,
Yeah.
from Morocco Rabat. I think 2019.
Yeah.
And they have been improving, running faster and faster. I think they've broken the national record 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But sometimes we seem to overlook that. But they, and it's just, I think the last Olympics in Tokyo was just a slightest mishap right on the line where they missed it. And then opportunity to in Birmingham, where a big mistake on my part cost us, going to finals. But we've put all that behind us. The guys are more focused. Training is going well, and I know they'll make it. They'll make finals. My goal is still going to be in top five in
Mm.
the final.
Do you honestly believe that we celebrate our Olympians well enough? Uh,
Oh, no, not at all. We don't. Um, I mean, case in example is the just ended Africa Games,
Yeah.
you know. And before I go to that, I'll bring your mind quickly up to the Paris Olympic Games, where we have, during the torch, when they were going to light it up, you see how many
Yeah.
people pass
Yeah. Yeah.
the flame here and there and things like that. In Ghana, was so sad. I mean, I call it Africa Olympic Games, right? It is our Olympic Games, and we have to light the cauldron and things like. And we have Olympians, we have good past athletes. Micah here is still alive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah. Still.
Others are there. That they could have. Azuma Nelson is there. John Myles-Mills is there. Ohini Karikari is there. All these guys were there, but you have to have somebody from the local organizing committee to go and light that torch up again. I mean, it just doesn't speak well. You've been behind the curtains, organized the thing well. Give these guys to a little opportunity more for people to know them. People don't know, up till now, people don't know me, Leo Myles-Mills, when I come to Ghana. People don't know who I am. People, and I'm not saying that I should be put on a jumbo throne screen out there somewhere and saying, hey, this is the person or that and that and that. But how do we get to know these past Olympians, these current Olympians? One, it all comes to, I would say we have to market them. We have to put them out there. But we don't celebrate our Olympians anywhere close enough in our beautiful country, Ghana. We don't.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. And do you think that we for instance, we've produced some of the greatest runners on the continent, yourself included, but we are yet to win a medal at the Olympics in terms of track and field. Do you look back and say, we could have done better in this direction? Boxing has given us 4, football 1, but athletics, with all our greats, we've not been able to win any medal at the Olympics. We've done so at the World Championship, we've done so at the Commonwealth Games, we've done so at the African Games, but the Olympics is missing.
That is very true. You've hit the nail right on the head. That is very, very true. And I've been asking myself too the same question, that why do we do so well and then we get on that big stage and we turn to fail ourselves, which in turn fails the country. Um, I don't know. Because the thing is, we've prepared ourselves well. I think when we get out there, we try too much. We try to impress ourselves, to impress our country people, our countrymen and women so much that we tend to do something little that will cost us. It is, I don't know, to be honest with you. I just don't know. And but I have a strong feeling that this year is going to be different. This year is going to be different. This year is going to be different. So let's keep hoping and praying. That's all we can hope for. That things change. Because you're right. We always do well. We run fast, here and there. But when we get to where the world would like to see us, we don't kind of perform well. And sometimes there's too much of psychological issues. Like I said too, we get out there, we try to impress ourselves too much. We feel a little burden on ourselves that, hey, they are watching us back home. We got to do well. We got to do well. We got to do well. So my advice to these guys is they should just go out and compete. Just as if they're in college still. We have 2 professional guys amongst them right now, I believe, Azamati and Joe Paul, I think.
Yeah, they are active college, yeah.
Right. So I'm saying they should still think their days back in college and go and do what they did in college. And at one point for me, that's what kept me going. Because this professional thing, it's the same thing. You still get out in the blocks and, on your mark, set, pick, go. Same thing, but a lot of things go into that race more than you think, So I have these strong feelings that this year is going to change.
Sure. For the young, you went to Accra Academy, right?
Correct.
For the young, athletes in Accra, Ogasco, Adisco, Pempe, Tia, Mars, who will have the opportunity of listening to this and or watching us on social media, what would be your advice for them? Whilst we all watch this Olympics, what should they take from just watching the Olympics?
My only advice for those who are in school, for those who have this athletic ability to do these things, don't give up. Don't do half a job. Go out there and do it all. Do it with your mighty might. Anything that you know how to do it, do it. You never know where it will take you. I started for instance, myself, I was playing soccer and I was enjoying it. I was having a good time playing soccer, And then I came over here and track and field is the one that has rather given me more exposure than soccer. And those who knew me back then, when they see me now, they say, man, you never pursued soccer, did you? I said, no, I didn't. I didn't see myself as a good soccer player, though, but I was having fun, And so they say that, okay, I mean, you did track and field, that also, brought a different part of you out that we didn't know, that you could run that fast, and things like that. But all the other schools and every child in school watching, I know the school system now is a little bit off track from what we started with. And so they don't have that much time to throw in PE and do as much as we did. But I still hope that things will come out. We'll still have kids come out and do the little that they can, and they'll be spotted and be picked and chosen and be given the proper training, the technique to, make them better sportsmen and women. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Years ago, I was also sitting home watching the Olympics, and made it my goal. At one point, a second point, well, I didn't care. And then it dawned on me again. And the interest sparked up again. So these kids in school, I say they shouldn't leave any stone unturned. They combine the athletics, sports with, the education, and they are going to be great. They never know where they'll end up. The likes of ACN, Ogasco, I believe he went, who knew he could turn out to be a great soccer player, great. They all turn out to be. So you never know your talent end. You don't know where to take you. So they shouldn't give up. If those who haven't started yet, but they feel the interest, they should start and go for it.
Again, thank you very much for your time. I've truly enjoyed this interview. Hopefully we get to talk again. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So I'll call you on the phone after this one. I'm ending up and call you on the phone.
Okay. I'm gonna end up right now.
Sure.